know what I mean, though? What I'm saying is I think a black girl takes more shit from a white guy than she does from a black guy. That's what... You know what I mean, though? What I'm saying is I think a black girl takes more shit from a white guy than she does from a black guy. That's what I'm saying. I've dated, I've almost married a black girl. And she almost killed me, but I digress. I'm just trying to get my camera straight here. But every black guy I know, who's my buddy and has a black girlfriend, she's all bellicose and loud and ornery, you know, blowing up his phone, right? Like, come on. Am I making this up, or am I a little, am I on point here? Tell me, am I wrong?
I'm not saying nothing.
All right, you plead in the fifth?
Not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And in this video here, I'm going to talk about... Damn, nigga, you talking about black women? You bashing black women now? You that desperate for views? You worse than Tommy Sotomayor. But carry on, I'm going to love this. How some black women fall all over white zaddy. Now this ain't a video to bash black women. Everybody knows I give black women their props, but this is something that I observe that, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to call out. And in this video I'm not going to talk about, you know, I'm not going to talk about celebrities or a clip that I saw. I'm going to talk about my own people that I dealt with, you know what I'm saying, in reality, you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about some ex-co-workers of mine, you know. I'm like, when you have people like, let's say Cheryl Underwood, who's that lady from The View, speaking upon her dating a white guy almost as a religious experience. Now, you can date who you want, but it's pretty bad, you know what I'm saying, when you're like waving a banner, when you're caping. A female shouldn't have to chase a dude, but here we go. This happened around 2001, 2003, between like, you know, right around 9/11. I was just starting a job at Marion County Jail 2 as a correctional officer. I was around 23 years old. Yeah, that's why I say it's a long time. Matter of fact, anybody who's worked at Marion County Jail 2, aka CCA, the worst fucking corporation in the world, I just needed a job. Anybody who worked there, or anybody watching this video who's been locked up there from let's say around 2001 to 2003, then you might know the characters I'm talking about. But I'm gonna change their names to protect their identities. Okay, there was this black girl. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call her Debbie, because she kind of looked like the black version of Little Debbie from Little Debbie's Cupcakes and Cookies and Pastries and so forth. Debbie was, I'm like, we talk about colorism in the black community. Well, Debbie was, she was chocolate skin colored, and she was the baddest chick working there. Matter of fact, I would say that working at a jail, I was surrounded by so many attractive black women that were filling out their outfits. I haven't worked any other job where I was around so many pretty co-workers. But little Debbie was the baddest one of them all. You know, I'm like, people's jaws dropped when they saw Debbie. I'm like, she has a pretty face and she has a killer body, breast, thighs, and so forth. She had a nice smile. She spoke with almost perfect diction. I'm like, she was very articulate. I'm like, and she seemed like she had a good head on her shoulders. She was like 23 years old. No, 21 years old, 21 or 22, and she wore her hair natural. She was one of those pretty girls you just like being around. You just like being around them and so forth. And there was this sergeant who worked. I think he's a sergeant or a lieutenant or one. I can't remember. But he was of high rank. He was a black dude, a correctional officer. They called him CeeLo because he looked like CeeLo off the Goody Mob. But he was tall. He was like 6'2", 6'3", or something like that. He was also an ex-Marine. He also had another job because, you know, CCA wasn't paying shit. You know, he drove a nice car, and he was infatuated with Debbie. I'm like, he used to go up wherever she was stationed at, you know, whatever quarters she was assigned to. He would always be up there talking to her and so forth. And I guess he shoot his shot or whatever, and she rejected him. But, you know what I'm saying, it was in reason. I'm like, this guy, he was like 36, 38 years old. He was married, divorced, and had kids. You know, Debbie, on the other hand, she was, as I said, she was like 21 years old. She has no kids. So there's a whole lot of life she hasn't experienced yet. You know, and I'm not saying that 21 and 36, that's like, you know, there's definitely an age difference there, but, you know what I'm saying, a couple could work it out. But I understood why she rejected him, you know what I'm saying. She wanted to be with a guy her own age, somebody with no kids. They can build something together. So I get it, you know what I mean. It's understandable. But here comes this white dude, and I'm going to call him Dusty. He was also around 36, 38 years old. Now, he's an entry-level correctional officer, just like me. And at the time, they was only paying like $10.15 an hour. I know, it wasn't shit. I had to deliver pizzas part-time for extra income. But here comes this white dude. He's short. He's chubby. I remember him. He kind of looks like Mario off Super Mario Brothers or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He was married, divorced, had kids. You know what I'm saying? He seems like he wasn't doing too good in life, especially when you're at that age and you already have kids making $10.50 an hour. You know what I'm saying? I was making $10.50 an hour too, but, you know, I was like 23 years old. I didn't have no kids. And you know where the story is going. Debbie and Dusty eventually hooked up. You know what I'm saying? You're probably saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why did she reject CeeLo? Because, you know, he was older, you know what I'm saying? There was a significant age difference, and he was already married and had kids. And why does she accept Dusty when Dusty is one, he's not at the level of CeeLo. CeeLo, at least, you know what I'm saying, he at least had some rank on him. CeeLo was ex-Marines. He had other sources of income coming in. Dusty was just that. He was Dusty. He was struggling in life. And I'm going to get to why he was struggling in life. And another thing, Debbie stated that one of the reasons why she rejected CeeLo was because she didn't want to date anybody she worked with. It'll cause too much confusion. And I get that. So she hooked up with Dusty. And as soon as she got with him, she started driving him to work. Dusty used to have this pickup truck. I guess he lost, got repossessed, or whatever. So he started riding in the car with Debbie. They was dating. And Debbie ended up also getting Dusty a cell phone. At the time, as I said, it was the turn of the century. Everybody was getting cell phones, man. If you didn't have a cell, this back when they was still chirping, like the chirp and the Nokia phones or whatever. If you didn't have a cell phone, you know what I mean, you was going to get left behind. So she bought him a cell phone and was driving him to work. So it seemed like with Dusty, there was he had some baggage with him, you know, and us, we were sort of dumbfounded. I'm like, why would she choose him? It's not that she choose a white dude. You know what I mean? She chose an older white dude that sort of, who has hit the wall, who doesn't seem to have anything he can offer her. You know, she works with him and working the same shift and so forth. So that's the thing. So it's obvious that, you know, she just wanted a white dude. You know, and then looking at Dusty, and also Dusty was mad disrespectful. I'm like, as I said, Debbie had an ass on her. You know, I mean, she had a caboose on her. I remember one time she was walking, and Dusty knew we were staring at her butt or whatever. One time he says to me, he says, "Hey Trotter, you know what I'm saying? Debbie's been a bad girl. Why don't you go smack her on the ass for me?" You know how white dudes do. "Why don't you go smack her on the ass for me?" You know. So yeah, I'm like, this was his girl. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, that's crazy disrespectful. And then the killer part with Dusty is that there was other black female staff in there that wanted to get with him. Supposedly he ended up smashing another black female CEO during his cigarette break in the car or something, like in Debbie's car. So it wouldn't surprise me, because once Dusty started dating Debbie, you know, the other black female CEO started looking his way and telling, "Oh, he dates black girls." Now bear in mind, this was before this was before the whole swirl movement and so forth. And then people asked me, since I was around the same age as Debbie, you know, and you know what I'm saying, we both didn't have no kids. People asked me, it's like, "Well, why didn't you holler at her?" I'm like, I didn't even have a chance to, you know. But it's obviously, I'm like the as furthest I would have got with her, because she wanted a white dude, was probably the friend zone. Hell, I've been in the friend zone so long, I've become the information desk. But going back, observing the situation now, and to be honest, even back then, it really didn't surprise me. You know what I mean? It would have surprised me actually if Debbie would have gotten with a black dude who has the same criteria. If Debbie would have gotten with this significantly older black dude who had a whole lot of baggage, and she was driving him to work and buying him a car, you know. And I'm not saying that black women don't carry a lot of black men, but a lot of the Pookies and Ray Rays that usually live with black women, and black women end up buying them cell phones or whatever, they're usually kind of like the swagger type, with dreadlocks and a 6-pack and 8-pack, and you know, somebody who walks around like he's Pretty Boy Floyd or somebody. Now, as far as Dusty goes, I'm like, do you think Dusty would even get with a white woman his age? Even a 36 and 38-year-old white woman will look at him and she be like, well, look at him and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying, you don't have nothing to offer me. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're making $10 an hour, you got kids, you're broke, you know. I'm like, I might as well, she would be like, I might as well get with a Pookie and Ray Ray. You know, I'm like, you know, and so forth. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't Pookies and Ray Rays, black men, young black men that be with these older white women. But you know, these older white women are buying him Jordans, buying him a cell phone. He's sitting around the house not working, eating up the Cheerios, getting him 2 scoops and so forth, watching Cartoon Network. But you will never see, I'm like, this is completely non-existent. You will never see a young black dude that most women will consider fairly attractive, a young black dude who has a job, who has a car, and has a good head on his shoulders, date an older white woman going in her late 30s, early 40s, who has nothing to offer, where he has to go pick her up for work, where he's buying her a cell phone. It as much as they say black men love white women and women of other races, it just won't happen. Even if this was a freaking nerdy black dude who collects E.T. memorabilia and so forth, and got E.T. on Blu-ray and director's cut and he's analyzed it and so forth, and all the ET video games or whatever, even he wouldn't do it. He would be like, why? I'm like, this would be cramping my style. I'm like, this person just has too much baggage. And I'm saying, I don't like white women that much. And also, you will never see there's no way Dusty would be able to get a young white woman. Imagine a white woman equivalent to Debbie I talked about. A young, attractive white woman and so forth. I'm like, Dusty will be invisible to her. You know, I'm like, she'll be like, why would I carry that extra baggage for a grown man that's making as much money as I am? You know, and so forth. Now there wasn't that many young white girls that worked at that jail. You know what I'm saying? There was only a handful. One of them was all on my tip, but you know, that's a whole nother story. But nah, that wasn't giving this dude the time of day. It's just something that, but you know, this video ain't about bashing, but that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching and never stop learning.